What's up, guys? Killer back with another Empires and Puzzles video. Today we got the March 2021 Hero of the Month, Malicna. I think I'm saying that right. I think that's what I've heard before. Man, I'm gonna be honest with you, I really love the animation of this hero. I think this hero looks extremely crazy. I like the synergy of the hero's animation off the rip. Like, I think, you know, she looks good clearly, like, you know, it's an anime girl. I like her armor with kind of like the spikes and the lavender and the purples and, you know, whatever. Then she's got horns, so I know she's a kind of a demon, which I think this is the first demon hero we've gotten into the game. And then she's kind of nerd-esque, like, what's behind those glasses? What book is she reading? And then what's in her hand? Like, what weapon does she have, or what does she not have? But I'm liking the animation right off the rip. Watched a couple videos. I heard a couple people not thinking this chick is really that good. I'm here to tell you I'm impressed. I'm way more impressed with this hero of the month than I have been the last four. Yeah, I'll say the last four. I say Zulag was pretty decent looking hero, and especially now because of the doubles and reverse double. Malicna is the same way. The reverse doubles and the doubles are what's going to make her on the rating going to be defense wise very relevant. Another thing too is that she has a defensive down, but let's get into her and then we'll talk more about that. So Malicna comes into us as a cleric. I think cleric is a boss class for her. I think this is really good, and you'll see why my Empires and Puzzle brain is like kind of sparking fireworks. Sometimes you got to hear the good and the bad to get your own synergy going with her. So she's a cleric. A cleric's ability is going to actually allow us to not take mana. So that's very interesting. Let me pop this up so you guys can see when I'm pointing at stuff. There we go. Alright, so a cleric's ability allows the class to determine the type of talent. Alright, so she's not going to take any mana down because she's a cleric. That's basically what it does. It bypasses getting mana down. Well, that works out great with her passive of status effect on mana reduction. Receives the following status effect when the mana is reduced. The caster gets a 94% defense against holy. So if her mana gets reduced and her cleric ability goes off, the reduction doesn't happen, and then she automatically pops up a yellow shield. So this effect is going to happen. It's going to be similar to Lady Lamb. I think I'm saying her name right. Let me make sure I got it. Lady Willerton, sorry, Willerton, I know I messed it up, there it goes. Lady Willerton, to where she's a cleric, but like what happens is, as she uses her ability, she has a passive that cannot gain mana for 2 turns. Well, if you got her at 20 emblems, she bypasses that. Same thing's going to happen with Malicna. So when you get her, when she gets hit with a mana reduction, her passive of 94% holy shield is going up automatically. But her cleric passive possibly goes off, and it goes off at a pretty high rate. If I'm not mistaken, it's a 24, if not a 30% passive. So like this is going to happen like when you're going against these heroes. Let's see, where are we at with? So 7%. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have a 35% chance of this going off. So 35% chance of her bypassing the mana reduction. That's great. So her holy shield going off no matter what, and then possibly still able to get mana even if it's stolen from her. I'm liking this off the rip. The bypass for not stealing health, I think, is okay. We have very few health stealers. We have Vanda and we have Victor. And that's it right now, the ones that steal health. I believe it's like one more. I know John F's resistant to it as well, but that was not as good. I think the only thing would have made her a little bit better if they made her resistant to blind. Then she'd be a perfect counter for yellows. But you can't have everything. And with the double passive, that's really hard to make somebody that strong. I think we're going to see a really strong passive and a really weak passive, kind of similar to how we saw I'm about to mess her name up, Bertilla and Uraeus. So I think, you know, the yellow passive here is the stronger one, and the lesser passive is below. And I think it's going to be the same on them, because like on Uraeus, he gets health from destroying minions, and Bertilla, she gets mana on destroyed minions. That's a really strong passive. Their other ones was, one was resistant to like sand damage, and the other one was resistant to something. So like it was not, you're like, who cared? But so like let me verify, make sure, because I just kind of want to make sure I'm clear so people can understand what I'm saying. I think we are going to see strong passives and weak passives. So like, yeah, he's resistant to sand damage, and there's very few people who do that, so no big deal there. And then she's resistant to blind, but it's a green going against people resistant to blind, so it's not that big of a deal for a green to be resistant to blind. Like they'd put the blind on Malicna and the health still on Bertilla. That would have been interesting, because then she'd have been super strong against yellows. 766 attack, 741 defense, 1339 health. Really good base stats. With her stats and what she does, and we'll get into her her special skill here in a minute, which I'm going to jack up because I'm looking at it right now. I believe she's probably going to be best suited as a wing, a flank 2 or flank 3, but I probably would run her at flank 3 because of Frigg and how many other people we have. In a perfect world, I think she goes great with a Frigg flank, you know, on the opposite side of her, and then possibly putting, and this is my brain, I personally would put an Odin tank in there. So you have the yellow purple right there, and I tank Odin from time to time, and he's not bad. If he goes off one time, mana goes up for everybody else, and so that's always good. So let's get into her special skill, man. Yeah, I'm gonna jack this up. Scheme. Grimoire. Yeah, nope, not doing that. Let's see here. Let's see if I can get it. Let's see, it's Grim. Yeah, there we go. How do you say this word? Where's that? Where's it at? Where's it at? Where's it at? Hold on, I'm jacking it up. Let me see. I can't pronounce that word. Anyway, we'll get into her passive. Something scheme. All right, so she deals 260 damage to the target and nearby enemies. Randomly casts one of the following alternatives. Alternatives. I think these are kind of cool and unique. So target and nearby enemies at alteration 1 get 54% defensive down. So with her being a defensive down average, she already is usable on Titans. I think she takes the place of our Cutchin on our yellow Titans from here on out. This is why I think she's so much stronger than a lot of people are realizing, because now you have a average person that does a defensive down on Titans, so that's faster than Cutchin going off. This is the reason why I like defensive down. I want to get her, because no matter what the rest of the alterations does, that's still faster, plus it's a hit. Another thing is the target and nearby enemies get 54% attack down for 3 turns. And then the target and nearby enemies get negative 24 mana down for 3 turns. So like on the doubles, putting her on the double with the reverse 3, having her in the tank spot where that possibly goes off, and you can just protect her and let her keep going off and defensive down, mana down. She just does all type of tricks. Like I love that. Now granted, that's 1 out of 3. Like, so imagine like on the alternatives, you're gonna get like, it's I guess 33.33% chance for it to happen. Alternative 2, the target and nearby enemies get 16% defensive down. Okay, for 3 turns. And alternative 3, the target and nearby enemies get 16% attack down. I'm okay with that too. Attack down or defense down at 16% is still better than nothing. And then if it goes to alternative 1, I'm cool with that. She is much stronger for Titans than Uraeus or some of the other heroes, than all the other hero of the months, the last 5. Glinda might be the only one you could say will make a bigger difference on your Titan for special hits, but Titan's more tile damage. This hero's special is gearing up towards a tile, and then her elemental link gives dark allies a small amount of mana at the end of each turn. That's going to make your dark heroes even faster. So maybe you run her with your sniper Seishat, and now you have the most mana link you're going to get. So I'm sorry, I think she's really good. I don't think the small amount of mana is going to be more than like 2 or 4% per turn. I don't think it's going to be something great. Like, don't expect like your whole mana increase to go off, but it will be interesting for the mana increase to go off with the increase from talent. So I think she's going to get a greater talent increase. Overall, I think she's probably like right at A-, if not a strong B+. If I do get her, this will probably be my next purple. And the reason I say that is because it's replacing someone on my purple Titan team, and that would be Kutchin. And he's a cleric as well, so if you have emblems on Kutchin and you're not using them anything but for Titans for defensive down, this makes more sense. Another thing I'll say is that the average with all the stuff that she does would go pretty good on some other teams. Like, I could see her taking place of maybe Grimble when I don't need minions taken away, but I can also see her doing well with maybe a team that's lacking defensive down, like putting her on a red team because they don't have an average defensive downer. You know, she wouldn't be able to buff anybody else. I think she works probably better with purples, because what will happen is you want her to go off first, the defensive down is there, and then your purple specialists from hitters would go off next. I can see her working really good with Onyx. I can see her working really good with Ursina, Grimble for that matter, and then maybe the new Obagon, and some of the other purples that we've gotten from Dark Lord just came out. She'd work good with Dark Lord because now you have a defensive downer for her, and not to mention you're increasing the person who you want the smack to come from speed. So I think she's really, really balanced. I like her. I like her a lot. I think this is a better hero of the month than we've gotten in the last 5 for sure. Yeah, I would like to level her, but that's all I got about her. I think she's really unique looking. That's right. I can't wait to pull for her. My next pulls are probably going to be on costumes, but until then, the cleric. That's one thing. All right. So TC said it's tough to say that the cleric class is any better on a hero or not. Like your classes of heroes, whether or not they're better or not. I disagree. He said that it doesn't really sway away or not. I think there's a disagreement there for me. Okay, cleric is normally healer driven. So the only other clerics we have that aren't really healers that are like in the game regularly. First one I'd say White Rabbit, Grimble, and then I think it's one more that I'm missing. That I have, but I just don't have leveled up. So White Rabbit, Grimble, I would say all the rest of the clerics like Mother North, your Kutchin, your Ariel, all those, they are healers. You know, like your Lady Wiltshire, that's a healer. So like what you have to do when you're comparing whether this is a good class or not for them is so like compared to an offensive cleric versus I would say a healing cleric or a defensive cleric, because I feel like healers are kind of more defensive-y than they are offensive-y. But like compared to those, like so there you go, Grazul, Ariel, you got Mother North right there, and I just saw Kutchin was right here. So like those are like healing clerics. Vivica's a healing cleric. So and then you got Grimble, who's offense, and then you've got White Rabbit. Well, I think I got on my team. Yeah, that's an offensive cleric. So compared to offensive cleric, White Rabbit, and Grimble, where the mana down from them passive wise, okay, that helps them. But in her case, Malicna, it's making a passive more functional. So where if she gets mana down, she'll get a shield up from it. Versus these guys, nothing changes for them. So I think as on the offensive cleric side of the game, or whatever, I would say cleric class works very well with her passive, so this is really good for her. Like, so, and I guess you could kind of go with the last two, which I think Ures and Bertilla, which were fighter and sorcerer. So like as a fighter class, her getting mana up after the minions down, that kind of works because like she could come back to life with the special up because the minion went off, and then it would work out good for her. So that makes sense there. But then like with Urias, you know, he's a source, so like nothing's helping there. Like with Telluria, her having the defense up and having massive defense with her stats just made her better. But like with the cleric, because it's like a passive ability with that class, and she has a passive trait with her, that's what's making the cleric ability better. And that's what kind of like I would say defines if the cleric class fits them or not. And that's why like I keep saying like don't make a defensive paladin. But like the Isrod just came out, and so he is a reflect paladin that's red, right? So he has the reflect on him, plus he has a defensive built into him. So like he's gonna defend himself until he's got the reflect, which then repels, which still takes damage, but defends against how much damage he takes versus repels back to you. So like it's just like one of those things, like that was a good passive for him. And that's what you got to look at when you're looking for like if the class matches the heroes. In this case, I think it's a perfect match because she could bypass the mana skill, get the holy shield up, and still hit you again because her mana keeps rolling, you know. So it's like one of those things. I think it's definitely worth some tabs. I have a couple tabs for her, so when I get her, I definitely will level this one. I didn't level any heroes from the last set. I didn't level a single one. I had Ruben up to 70, but I didn't do Glinda, I didn't do Bertilla, I didn't do Ures, and I didn't do Zulag, which I'm kind of regretting not doing Zulag because I do need another healer, but I'm thinking about that one. Other than that, that's the only one I was thinking about doing. But guys, that's all I got. I like Malicna. I think she's going to replace your defensive down on Titans. So if you grab her, she's definitely worth. If you don't have Cutchin, if you don't have Tibertus, or you're tired of using Tibertus, she would definitely be that replacement. She is a gambler class, so don't think that you're always going to get defensive down or you know, or the number one. It's a 1 in 3 chance. So like you could get the same offensive down effect for 3 turns. I still think that's helping the team, and she's hitting 3, and she's buffing your purple. So A- in my opinion. That's all I got. Kill out. Peace.